The Bolinas Museum presents Marie Dern, The Art of Handmade Books. Welcome to the Bolinas Museum. We're delighted that we can share this wonderful exhibition with you. Bolinas Museum includes 5 galleries of art, photography, and history, and this is our main gallery and the exhibition Marie Dern, The Art of Handmade Books. Marie designed and printed intriguing, witty, and beautifully crafted handmade letterpress books, many in collaboration with renowned authors, poets, and visual artists. Her creations are in collections such as the Bancroft Library of University of California, Berkeley, Achenbach Foundation of the De Young and Legion of Honor Museums in San Francisco, the National Museum of Women in the Arts in Washington, D.C., the New York Public Library, and Mills College Library in Oakland, California, where she earned her MFA. This exhibition shares both Marie's skill and her wild creativity. There are classic book forms and also examples of her wit and playful humor. Marie loved to laugh. When Marie's close friends, Barbara Bonander, artist-educator Cornelia Schultz, and United States Poet Laureate and Pulitzer Prize winner Kay Ryan visited the exhibition, Kay said, "I love the dimensionality." And Cornelia said, "Marie's creative brilliance fills this space as if she's present." Marie established her Jungle Garden Press in 1974, and for the next 45 years used her classic 1898 Chandler and Price letterpress to impress words and images into fine paper. Like all typesetters, Marie had drawers full of what today we call fonts, with compartments of multiple copies of each letter. When a typesetter chooses a font, the capital letters are placed above the drawers, and the other letters are in the lower drawers, and so today we say uppercase and lowercase letters. Marie made her own one-of-a-kind creations. Like opening a kimono with elegant simplicity, Marie reflected her own Buddhist practice in this book of poems by Ihai Dogen. Dogen founded the Soto school of Zen Buddhism in 13th century Japan. His poetry and writing still inspires modern Buddhism today. Marie was a writer and storyteller herself, and once described the intimacy of her printing process.
Lines perfectly straight, each letter tight to the next. The words enter through my fingertips, run up the right arm into the brain, spelling themselves in lead. The handmade paper thick, a cracker for a love song. The rhythm of the press unrelentingly familiar to me. I know every lovely cast iron curve, smooth to the touch. Letterpress printing is physical. The meeting of paper and type is called a kiss.
Marie and her husband, artist Carl Dern, raised 4 children in the vibrant communities of Berkeley and Marin County, including Stinson Beach. They practiced Zen Buddhism, laughed a lot, and even collaborated on many Jungle Garden Press books, using Carl's witty drawings. They were part of the Bay Area art scene that first bloomed in the 1970s, and a dynamic artist bookmaker scene that today includes the San Francisco Center for the Book, which provides classes, printing, and exhibits. These are people who share a passion for words, exquisite paper, type, design, printing, binding, and most of all the pleasure of collaboration. And Marie loved to collaborate. And throughout the years, Marie's son Fritz insightfully observed his mother's collaborative nature.
Part of her process was big on collaboration because being interested in what people say and how they say it, being interested in what people think and how they think, and how do you take that and process it and put it back out. You know, the quality of paper and how it feels to the touch and how it reacts to the binding that you put in, and you know, being able to work with people where those concepts are shared and understood is what made her collaborations so incredible, because they were really not necessarily similar minds, maybe even dissimilar minds, but with underlying shared respect for the material and the process that really created unique works.
Marie and Carl were very involved with the Bolinas Museum as artists, volunteers, guest curators, and Marie was on the board of directors for several years. Carl's main medium as an artist was metal, and visitors to the museum are welcome through the steel gates he created and his cast bronze sculpture, Chair Figure, After the Fire. Carl passed in 2009. In 2013, Bolinas Museum director Jennifer Gately, working with Marie, curated the wonderful exhibition Carl Dern, A Delicate Balance. The curator of this exhibition, Elia Howarth, worked closely with the Dern son James to select Marie's creations for part of this exhibition. James shared some stories of his family.
I really like this photo of my older sisters, Amy and Daisy, with my mom, Marie. Daisy, who's the next oldest for me, lives in Nashville with her partner Michael and her daughter Savannah. And Amy and her husband Dave Christensen raised their two boys, Matt and Tim, in Sonoma County. And my sister always recounts this story about how my parents met when they were 8 years old at a dance class in Salt Lake City. My parents were definitely products of their environment, growing up in a conservative socialite family and leaving Salt Lake City in 1960 and coming out to Berkeley, where the Vietnam protests were happening, and to dive into that world. And I think they were really charmed and seduced by it. I think that's where it really began for them. To not mention Danielle Guidici-Wallace, who was my dad's assistant for many years, would be tragic. Danielle and my mom became really close collaborators as well. They collaborated on the book Crow, which is a really, really great book. Danielle knitted paper thread for the outside of the book. Danielle and my mom also collaborated on a book called Soft-Boiled Happiness. And that book is, the outside structure of the book is meant to look like a sort of an old-time toaster. And inside the pages are shaped like pieces of toast that are made of invasive plant species.
Another collaboration was with Arthur Okamura in creating the Magic Rabbit's Book of Applied Rabbit Tricks. They shared a lively sense of humor and imagination. Like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat, the individually bound instructions pop out of a box made by John Demerit. Arthur was a loved Bolinas resident and an influential Bay Area teacher and artist. When her son Fritz came to see the exhibition with his wife Krista, daughters Liza and Serena, and mother-in-law Shirley, he spoke of Marie's inclusiveness and insight that art is all around us.
When my wife and I began our own family in the year 2002 with the birth of our two twins, Liza and Serena, my parents began to engage them in the lifelong creative process, making books and artwork of various types, from the scribblings and drawings that evolved from very early age on through.
From the time that the girls were little, books and art were always a part of their life. And I just want to point out that this one little book, I don't know if you can see the pics, but showing they're just beginning to write and scribble, and again, it is put into a book. Finding art in the ordinary.
That's also something that I would always do, finding art in the ordinary.
Yep.
You can always see the art in everything. Mimi and Papa definitely taught us that.
Mm-hmm.
This book was inspired by her favorite poem, The Wreck of the Hesperus, by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, who was a famous 19th century poet. And to incorporate the poem into this book, she printed it out and cut it up and put it all over in the waves, in the boat, and in the sails. And the straggly bits that you see are supposed to be seaweed from the shipwreck. And
she printed it on her handset letterpress.
Yes, it's all printed on her handset letterpress.
Daisy Dern and her partner Michael visited her mother's exhibition. They came from Nashville, where Daisy is a country singer. As a gift for Daisy, Marie made a book interspersing the lyrics of Your Cheatin' Heart by Hank Williams with a Shakespeare sonnet and handwritten musical notations. It is a witty combination of universal themes of trials of the heart. Marie's creations are diverse, with books designed to reflect their content, often in collaboration with her peers. A fine example is one featuring the poems of Kay Ryan. Marie reproduced Kay's distinct handwriting with digital plates printed onto single pages and held in a box created by John Demerit, with lining art by Martha Shaw. Another is Believe It or Not, with Kay's poems, Marie's design, drawings by Carl Dern, and binding by John Demerit. Marie and Martha, who is an accomplished artist and musician, have been friends for over 40 years. Martha and her husband Richard Shaw, Cornelia Schultz, and Robert Hudson, and their children lived at the historic White Gate Ranch above Stinson Beach. All four became influential California artists. Marie worked with many local and nationally renowned writers such as Bill Berkson, Richard Barligan, Michael Sykes, Robert Bly, and Dr. Michael Witt. Here is one last example of Marie's humor, Ba Ba Black Sheep. She and illustrator Martha Weston reinterpreted this classic children's rhyme that dates back to the 1700s and is also the title of a story by Rudyard Kipling. It is letterpress printed with Garamond type on Hosho paper, then bound in black momy bags stuffed with real wool, and a puff of wool for a tail. Just one of Marie's projects intended to make you smile. Marie's daughter Amy described her mother as strong and intelligent. She said things weren't always easy, and the letterpress process is a kind of metaphor for life. The many little pieces, letters and images, can be disorienting when laid out for print, upside down and backwards. But under the pressure of the press, all the individual pieces come together to make something whole and unique. Everyone who knew Marie Dern speaks of her creativity, her imagination, and laughter. So we hope this video and virtual tour of the Bolinas Museum exhibition has brought you a smile and creative inspiration.